Welcome to the future of factory automation.
This program is a broadcast of a Japanese podcast that has been translated into English using Notebook LM.
And welcome to the deep dive. We've got quite an interesting mission for you today. We're digging into a translated conversation, actually, from a Japanese podcast.
That's right. It features two speakers, Takahashi and Chris, and they're talking all about factory automation trade shows or FA shows.
Yeah, and our goal, really, your goal listening in, is to pull out the best strategies, the actionable stuff they've learned from years of walking these floors.
Think of it as getting the inside track on becoming a trade show pro. You know, learning how to actually get information that's useful, that goes beyond just, well, the brochures or what you can find online anyway.
Exactly. And this all kicked off because of a question from a listener. INO is their radio name. First-time contributor, enjoys the deep dives, which is great to hear.
Right.
But they feel like at trade shows, they only ever scratch the surface. You know, the info they get is pretty much the same stuff they could find on a website.
Yeah, that's a common feeling, I think.
So INO wants to know our tips, basically. What do we consciously try to do when we're at these exhibitions?
Well, I mean, the obvious starting point, the big advantage of actually being there is the face-to-face part, right? You can talk to people directly.
Absolutely. That's the core difference.
You get to have a real conversation, something you just can't do clicking around online.
But like Takahashi and Chris point out, the real trick is avoiding those really basic chats.
The shallow ones.
Like asking about basic PLC functions when, the exhibitor just reads off the specs you already saw in the catalog. We've got to push past that.
Precisely. So let's look at Takahashi's way first. He mentions he often starts by finding people he already knows. His quote is, "I usually have acquaintances there."
Ah, okay. So leveraging existing connections.
Exactly. For him, that's the shortcut. Those relationships get him the detailed info much faster.
Makes sense. It's like having an inside track, someone who can give you the real story, maybe, not just the official line.
Right.
And if he doesn't have a contact at a particular booth, what then?
Then his focus just shifts. It becomes about making new acquaintances. So networking is really key for him.
Okay.
And beyond just the people side, Takahashi also really stresses preparation. He talks about marking the exhibition map beforehand, planning out his route.
So studying the layout, figuring out which booths look promising, and basically creating a plan of attack. Seems logical?
Yeah, it's all about being efficient with his time. He starts with one big loop, a complete walkthrough of the whole place.
Get the lay of the land first, like a scouting mission.
Pretty much. See everything, see what grabs his attention.
And then he circles back.
Then he revisits the booth that seemed interesting on that first pass. Goes back for the deeper dive, the real conversations. It's very systematic, his method.
Okay, very organized. Now you said Kuri, the other speaker, is different.
Oh, completely different. Chris actively avoids any pre-show prep. No research, no map marking, none of that.
Wow, that's bold, especially for a big show.
Right.
So what's his strategy then? Just wander?
Well, sort of, but with a purpose. His strategy is to visit absolutely every single booth.
Every single one, seriously. At a major FA show, that sounds exhausting.
It does. But his thinking is, by seeing everything, he gets the full picture. Even the stuff he might have missed, if he'd only focused on what he thought was relevant.
Okay, I can see the logic. Even if it sounds like a marathon, how does he filter it down then?
So after that first comprehensive sweep, he does a second loop, but much faster.
Right?
Just quickly identifying the spots that actually caught his interest on the first pass, kind of filtering out the noise.
Okay, first pass broad, second pass to pinpoint, and then the third time's the charm for the deep dive.
Exactly. That third visit is when he goes back to those selected areas and really digs in, asks the deeper questions, gets into the details.
So their starting points are worlds apart planned attack versus total immersion, but they both end up needing to get past those surface chats.
That's the key thing for INO, I think. They both know that asking, what does this PLC do, only gets you the catalog answer.
Right. You need to ask things that uncover how it's really used.
Yeah, like instead of just specs, ask what kind of customers are really getting value from this? Or maybe, have you seen any unusual or really creative ways people are using this technology?
Questions that make them share actual stories, actual applications, things you definitely won't find in the data sheet.
Exactly. It gets them talking about real-world stuff.
It's about digging into the why, not just the what. They even mention asking about regional differences, like
Yeah.
asking about German approaches versus Japanese ones.
Yeah, that can uncover different viewpoints, different ways of solving problems. It broadens your perspective.
And Takahashi also mentioned being proactive, like sharing your own challenges and asking exhibitors, hey, could your tech help with this problem I'm facing?
Right. That turns it from a sales pitch into more of a collaboration, much more valuable.
Which just shows, really, that getting good information at these things is a skill. It takes practice.
Definitely. The more you do it, the better you get at asking those insightful questions and, reading between the lines sometimes.
And Curry had that other interesting tactic, visiting booths that seem totally unrelated, like accounting software at a factory automation show.
Yeah, that one's a bit out there, isn't it?
It is. What's the point of that?
Well, his idea is to broaden your horizons. Maybe you stumble across an idea or a different way of thinking from a totally different field that you could actually apply back in FA. You just never know.
Huh. Cross-pollination of ideas. I like it. Okay, so regardless of strategy, they both agree. You have to actually talk to people.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Step up, initiate the conversation. Sounds simple, but it's easy to just drift past booth, especially if it's crowded.
And they also touched on something a bit awkward sometimes, that not all exhibitors are equally welcoming.
Right. Takahashi mentioned times where he felt kind of brushed off. Some exhibitors might be looking for specific types of leads, perhaps. It happens.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about the fun stuff, the giveaways, the swag.
Ah, yes, the swag. Takahashi apparently collects everything, takes all the pamphlets.
He admits it. Whereas Kuri is a bit more selective, but Takahashi has a particular fondness for, get this, branded wet wipes.
Webs. Okay, practical, I guess.
That's what he said. They also noticed how giveaways have changed. Fewer pens, apparently.
Yeah, more things like clear plastic folders, maybe snacks sometimes.
Takahashi mentioned getting a calorie-mate bar, like an energy bar, at a robotics booth. Definitely memorable.
And the classic reusable shopping bag, the eco bag. They're everywhere, but they did say the quality seems to be getting better lately, more useful.
Kuri apparently still has a durable clutch bag from Sans Panenda from years ago.
Oh, and they noted that international companies often still give out the more traditional stuff, like notebooks and pin badges.
Little cultural differences even in the giveaways. Okay, so recapping their main strategies. Takahashi is about targeted visits, pre-planning, asking about applications. Kuri is more about exploring everything first, then focusing, maybe less formal prep.
Right. Then there are their sort of conscious habits at the show. Takahashi makes a point of having his company name visible on his badge.
And wearing work clothes. Why is that?
His thinking is, it signals he's a serious professional from the get-go. He feels exhibitors are more likely to engage in a substantive way if they see that.
Okay, projecting professionalism.
And Kuri actually finds it kind of off-putting when an exhibitor suddenly changes their attitude after finding out who he works for later on.
So he gets why Takahashi does the upfront work clothes thing. It avoids that awkward shift.
Exactly. Which brings us to Excalibur.
The legendary Excalibur. You have to explain this.
Okay, so Excalibur, according to Takahashi, is his portable FA demo kit. Jim Top built it for him. It's got a PLC,
The brain, yeah.
an I/O master for connecting sensors and stuff, an HMI screen,
The operator interface.
and even its own battery. All in one carryable case.
So he literally carries a mini automation system around the show floor.
He did at a previous iFeast show. Said he got mixed reactions. Some people seemed to, actively avoid him, maybe intimidated,
Maybe.
but others were super curious. And he found that the people who actually stopped and asked about it, they ended up having really great in-depth conversations.
It's a heck of an icebreaker, I'll give him that. Shows the tech in action right there.
Totally. He did mention the battery only lasts about 2.5 hours, though.
Limitation.
And he hinted it might be making an appearance at the Jim Tioff show in November. So keep an eye out if you're going.
We will. Okay, so wrapping up their thoughts on just general information gathering.
Right.
A big theme is commitment, right? Spend the whole time there.
Yeah, don't bail early. And don't get discouraged if the first few chats aren't amazing. Keep at it.
They also really push building connections, trying to actually make friends in the industry, not just contacts.
And the basic advice, just talk to people. Explore everything. What's the worst that can happen?
Right. No downside to trying. Takahashi even has a personal rule. No sitting down. Maximize every minute.
That's dedication. Now, they also shared some maybe more advanced tactics.
Oh, like what?
Well, visiting booths near closing time. Apparently, that's when the really knowledgeable folks, senior staff, technical gurus, might be more available because the main rush is over.
Ah, interesting. Catch them when the crowds thin out.
Takahashi even joked, maybe half-joked, about trying to catch people right after closing for a quick chat. Probably not recommended, but it makes the point.
Find them when they're less busy. Makes sense.
And the flip side,
Mm,
visiting booths in the first 15 minutes of opening, especially on day one.
why then?
Because the key people, the technical managers, maybe even executives, are often there right at the start.
Okay, hitting the ground running on day one. And they said this applies to smaller events too, like private manufacturer shows.
Yeah, same logic. Day one, early on, is often your best shot to connect with the decision makers or the deep technical experts.
Now, they did admit making really deep connections at the show itself is tough. It's busy.
Right. But it's a great chance to have better conversations with people you already know, or at least start building that rapport for later follow-up.
Both of them kind of reflected on their own journeys too. Corey said his early show visits weren't that great, probably because he wasn't as focused.
And Takahashi admitted he maybe doesn't have as many industry friends as Corey, showing that networking takes time and effort.
But the bottom line from both of them seems to be, you got to be proactive. You have to engage.
Absolutely, that's the core message.
So, summing up this whole trade show learning idea,
Yeah.
they clearly believe these events are valuable, but you have to work it. You have to maximize the experience.
Yeah, they almost talk about it like playing a game or exploring. Approach it with curiosity.
So, for you listening, the main takeaways seem to be proactive. Decide on your strategy plan meticulously, or explore broadly, whatever suits you. Ask those deeper, insightful questions.
Right. Go beyond the brochure and actively try to build connections. Make the most of that limited time you have on the show floor.
Okay, let's leave you with a final thought to mull over. Now that you've heard all this about navigating trade shows, what's one unexpected question, something really different that you could ask at your next industry event to try and uncover some truly valuable hidden insights?